What's up, Sushi Squad? We back in more Trove patch notes. Yep, that's right. There's already a new patch on PC. I'm sorry that this video is a little bit late today, but well, I kind of slept in because I ended up doing like a 4-hour stream of Genshin yesterday. Oh my god, it was fun though. So this is kind of weird because we're actually, I think we're like 3 or 4 updates ahead of you guys on console, which is sad. Obviously the Chloromancer rework is on Nintendo Switch, but it's not on Xbox or PS4. There's been a couple different Delve updates, like there was the Fey biome and the Delves and stuff, and you guys still haven't gotten that as far as I know. And then obviously the Bard class, and now the Depth Stepper update. Bam! I spit all over my screen. Depth Stepper, which is like the stupidest, like, can these please rename these updates? Like but don't worry, because honestly speaking, folks, this is a pretty lackluster update. Some of you guys might be like, oh my god, this is absolutely amazing, but for me personally, my quick review of it is I don't really care. It just basically adds like more stuff for the Delves that is very, very tedious, but we'll get into that. Before we get started though, I gotta let you guys know, if you are new to Trove, you can use that sign up link down in the description, and then anything you end up buying out of the cash shop, I'll make a percentage of that sale. It's an awesome way you can support my cost of living, and thank you guys so much for actually doing that, because I see you guys in the comments and stuff saying you did it and blah blah blah, and I really appreciate it, even though I don't know if it works with consoles, because I haven't heard from GameAgo in months. I think it only works on PC. I don't know. Oh, that would be so sad if that was true. But it's the thought that counts more so than anything. Anyways, let's get into it. So the patch itself is, after having the opportunity to test out the new update on the test server, it is now officially present, the Depth Stepper update on PC. I want to also be very, very clear with you guys. The other videos that we had recently on the test server talking about the new class abilities and so on and so forth, that is not included in this update. Okay, this is just the Delves update. This is why it's a little bit lackluster. So anyways, have you ever always dreamed of being able to select the boss or biome delve that interests you the most, or a specific depth perhaps? This wish now comes true, kind of, with the Depth Stepper update. Obtain the gateway you're interested in by purchasing it from the Delves house in the hub, or crafting it in the Delve workbench, and dive into the most thrilling delves in the world of Trove. In addition, this update also comes with further changes, like the deepest public delve, ranking contests, and some bug fixes. Discover the mind-blowing content of the Depth Stepper update and dive into the deepest delves. The following patch notes are PC only. Here's an overview of today's update. Now, a couple things, and the reason why I'm saying it so dry is because there's the Depth Stepper gateways right here. As far as I know, we'll get into it in the patch. I only kind of skimmed over it, but I think certain portals are only craftable for certain days of the week. I could be wrong about that. We'll double check. But look at this. This is ridiculous. Look how many, like, just thinking of the bosses of the Delves alone, this is how much content there is in the Delves. And they've finally made it so that we can end up selecting the Delve biome and the Delve boss. But of course, it's 1 step forward, 2 steps back. This is the absolute, like, I'm really sorry if the devs are watching this. I don't mean to hurt your feelings, okay? This is the worst way you could have possibly implemented this. This is, and I talked about this at length in one of my live streams, because there is a term that a lot of MMO games suffer from, which is called parasitic design. So it doesn't necessarily mean that the update in itself is a bad idea or anything, or like it's just a toxic update or whatever. What parasitic design basically means, it's a new term I saw off another YouTube channel, and I thought it was interesting. Basically, it is taking something that already exists in the game, and like a parasite, it's leeching off of it rather than implementing a brand new system that works in tandem with the rest of the game. So the parasitic design of this is quite literally the fact that they didn't end up overhauling the Delve portals in general so that we could select the depth, select the boss, select the biome and stuff like that. Instead, they made it so that we have to grind some new stupid portal so that we can then end up crafting other stupid portals, and that's how you end up getting to the specific bosses and stuff. And I hate this update. I really do. You know, I'm always vocal about my criticisms towards Trove, but this is literally the worst possible way they could have implemented this. At one point, it's like, okay, I guess at least it's in, but I hate it. Okay, because if you don't make the systems in this game as easily accessible to the player as possible, not only do you, you know, overwhelm players, but who is this for? Who is this update for? For somebody like me at the end game, frankly speaking, this is too many steps, so I don't care. And if somebody like me doesn't care about this, then who is this for? Because new players are just not going to bother with this. And it's a shame because they poured so much resources into the delves and making these updates work and stuff like that. And it's just like, why? Either do a better job of it or, frankly speaking, move on from the delves because nobody likes them. Anyways, I'm sorry, I had to get that off my chest. Let's get into the patch notes here. So, Depth Steppers are a new type of delve gateway available for craft and purchase in the hub. After placing a Depth Stepper, the placing player may interact with it. It'll bring up a UI that lets you manually select the depth. So the depth is usually between 23 and 110. Some adept delvers may find they can start deeper, so it's kind of just recommended. But it says that the minimum depth has to be higher than 23. So, you know, it's the delve, the depth stepper portals themselves are fine. I want to be clear about that. It's this whole system of trying to select a boss in a biome. This is the part that I don't like. The depth stepper portals themselves, they're a nice addition. They really are, because you basically just let me see, do I got a couple here? So we basically just plop it down, and then when you interact with it, oh, okay, it doesn't let me actually do it in a public world. Okay, well, anyways, normally it brings up a HUD, and then you can end up changing the depth and so on and so forth. And, you know, that's a really nice change. That really is. But I feel like it should be something that is used on all delve portals, not just these new ones that you have to farm for. But I mean, whatever. Okay. So usually depth steppers point to a specific boss or biome. You'll see them within the first 3 tiers of the delve. When the shadowy soul vault appears, that's when you usually end up seeing the boss that you're specifically going for. So if you went into this bench and you crafted one that specifically, you know, this one, Daughter of the Moon. So basically you would only fight Daughter of the Moon once you got to the 3rd floor and ended up seeing the shadow vault, right? Though some bosses may appear on floors following the shadowy soul vault. So it's so basically what they're saying in this patch is that the system for the delves bosses is so random that even these portals couldn't guarantee the bosses. Each 3 floors thereafter that you fought the boss has an increased chance for the boss or biome, but not a guarantee. So again, this is just like, why would I bother crafting these? For a better chance of fighting the boss. The increased chance to spawn will persist until a 3rd tier without the boss or biome is generated, at which point the delves will send a message in the chat box indicating that the boss or biome is no longer has an increased spawn chance. So basically, you go into the Daughter of the Moon portal for a long enough time, and then eventually you just don't even see Daughter of the Moon, and it's just normal delves. Again, I hate this. Like, this is just the... Personalized chests can sometimes spawn in the depth stepper delves on any floor, giving an opportunity for a second loot roll to a single player participating in the delve. These chests can spawn for any player that is present, but will usually spawn first for whichever player placed the depth stepper portal in the first place. That is complete random. They even say in the patch, usually. I don't know why they even have this stupid system. I ended up actually getting the personal chest on stream the other day, and I did it with a bunch of other people, and they ended up getting personal chests. All right, let's see. Boing. Oh. And yeah, the chance of getting extra loot actually worked. I got some legendary gear, no crystal gear at all to speak of. So useless, but technically it's there in exactly what they say it's there to do, is just give you more loot. I'm sorry, this is a bad update, dude. Among other ingredients, crafting boss or biome depth steppers require one depth stepper private mode and an epic condensed memory. So the items that are required in order to craft these portals, by the way, like all of these stupid things, these are stupid because it's acquired by deconstructing an epic memento from a delve. So in order to end up crafting a portal that gives you a chance of fighting the boss and going into the biome that you actually want, you have to grind delves for hours on end in the first place to get a memento that you can loot collect so that you can then end up getting enough items to end up crafting the stupid portal, and then you might not even have a chance of actually fighting the boss in the first place. It's like I said, the worst way of implementing it possible. Like I can't believe that somebody said this was okay. I'm not saying that I'm hating 100% on the delves, okay? I'm sorry I'm going on so many tangents today, but I'm passionate about it, and through these criticisms, I want the game to be better, okay? That's the goal here. I'm not just having baseless accusations about, oh, the delves are terrible. No, I actually think that the delves, in theory, is actually really, really cool. It's just the execution is just so astronomically poor. And with each perpetual update, just adding more and more bulk, not content, bulk to the delves, it just feels less and less viable and less like there's a point. Because the whole point of the delves in the first place, and the reason why they ended up replacing shadow towers, is they're better for the server because it's an infinite dungeon. So rather than constantly creating new worlds, when you end up going into a new world, it basically opens a new server of that instance for the players that are involved in that world, and that causes lag and strain on the servers of the entire game. So the delves was supposed to mediate that because it made it so that you could just go into one perpetual dungeon rather than constantly creating new worlds, most particularly shadow tower portals, where players are literally creating hundreds of new instances per week because of the shadow tower reset. So the delves kind of alleviated a lot of that. But the problem is that the devs don't seem to realize is the delves are wholeheartedly boring. Nobody likes the aesthetic of the delves. And I would argue that the delves are actually really cool, but they need to move away from the caves. Like, the fact that they even constantly advertise that there's multiple biomes, and you want to know what a different biome is in the delves? It's a different colored wall. It's not a different biome. Oh, a different plant is on the ground. Oh my god. Wow, the variance. It's not like all of these Uber worlds where they're drastically different, you know? And I would love to see either the delves, I've been very vocal about this, but I would love to see the delves either just be a handcrafted dungeon that is infinite. So you go into, you know, it's like, oh, it loaded dungeon 3. And then you go into the next depth, and then it's like, oh, dungeon 45, you know, and it just randomly loads different variations of the dungeons. And it could be like Shadow Tower themed, or better yet, it could be themed from every other dungeon in the game, you know, so that it actually had different biomes. So we could be inside like maybe a giant T-Rex's skeleton or something like that, or like a museum for a Jurassic. And then we could end up being in an ice cave or something like that for the permafrost, because a cave would actually work with permafrost, and then maybe medieval highlands could be like floating islands or something like that, you know? Like, it's just, there's so much more imagination that could be injected into the delves instead of all of this crap. And I think that a lot of players, myself included, would be a lot more interested in the delves if they actually looked cool, and devs if they actually gave good loot, because they don't. Okay, delves, the only real thing that they have out of them is obviously there's a couple different weirdo mounts, you know, there's a couple different of the mementos, which is a worthless item. All it does is give mastery and nothing else. And then there's also the sorry, I had a brain fart there, Crystal 4 gear. But Crystal 4 gear is not really worth it when you have to farm over 200 delves in order to end up even having a chance of getting it. Like, so the depth stepper gateways can either be purchased from this NPC for a bunch of inert geode. You can only buy 5 of them per week. It's 600 geode a pop. Or you can get them from Gateway Gladdies for 50 credits, limited 10 per week. I don't even know what they're talking about. I don't know who Gateway Gladdies is or why they say it costs credits, because credits implies to me that it's something that I can buy out of the cash shop, but okay, whatever. I don't know. Anyways, these can also drop, the depth stepper portals. This is the best way of getting them. They can drop, albeit rarely, from depth stepper delves of depth 100 or greater. So So long as you're at the end game, then you will more than likely end up getting more depth stepper portals back than you end up spending. At least I have, anyways. Up to 6 depth stepper private mode gateways can now be acquired each week by opening the Shadowy Soul Vaults. So when you go into the Delves, you get to the Shadowy Soul Vault. You can end up basically getting some of these depth stepper portals alongside like your Titan Souls and Lunar Souls and stuff like that. Apparently, I think there's like a limited amount, but it, oh, 6. You can get up to 6 per week. Okay. Depth stepper private mode gateways can now rarely be found inside pressure locked delve caches, which is the boxes that you get out of the delves. So thankfully I have like, I've saved all of mine, so I have like over 2,000 of them, so I'm good in that front in terms of the depth stepper. Like that's fine. Epic condensed memory is obtained when loot collecting biome mementos or depth steppers, so you can actually you can loot collect a depth stepper so that then you could use an extra depth stepper that you had in order to end up crafting one of the boss related delves. Okay, whatever. All boss depth steppers can be crafted all the time, whereas only, oh, okay, so those are all the time, whereas only 2 biome depth steppers are available to craft each day of the week. I knew that there was something that was on the weekly rotation, but of course the game doesn't have any representation as far as I can tell of which biomes are available for which day of the week. So it's just another thing that players just have to know. I don't know. I mean, does it really matter? The biome doesn't matter as much as the bosses do. Boss depth steppers can be purchased from Gateway Gladdies in the Delve building in the hub for prices ranging from 100 to 150 credits. Okay, so this Gladdies guy apparently is in here. They're not talking about this guy, are they? No. What the heck? What is this? What are chevrons? I don't even know what that thing is, but oh, there's Gateway Gladdies. Okay, it's some new idiot. Oh, devs. Okay, so that's why they put this stupid thing into the game, because the devs are stupid enough to think that people are actually going to buy these for credits. 150 credits each, no less. No, just no. Nah. Especially, like, could you imagine that? Oh, I'm going to drop down 150 credits for a Daughter of the Moon portal, and then you don't get lucky enough to actually see Daughter of the Moon. How much is that per credit, actually? So you get 900 for $5. So that's like a, would that be $1 or something like that? That is just blatant monetization in the worst degree. Yeah, okay, so this update sucks unanimously. Okay. Like, at first I thought it was just kind of my opinion, but yeah, this seems like this was the overall goal. Is they're like, how can we monetize the delves? Which, that's not how you actually get money out of players, devs. That seems like it might actually be a choice that was game ago more so than the developers, so I don't know. I mean, again, I don't mean to sound like I'm hating on it, but it's just I strongly disagree with this method of monetization, because honestly speaking, there are better ways that Trove can do it. And honestly, Game Ago has actually done a pretty good job so far, I would say, by constantly adding like costume packs and stuff that doesn't necessarily impact the game. But now they have an option for whales to just go into the delves. Maybe I would consider it if I thought that the delves were actually like interesting and worthwhile. Like if you ended up paying and, you know, you're not even gonna end up getting like a crystal 4. It's like, what's the point, dude? I don't know. That rubs me the wrong way. Everything about this update rubs me the wrong way. So anyways, glowing crystalline caches are now available from loot boxes, which give out free range electrolyte crystal. They barely give anything, honestly speaking. You can acquire them by opening Shadowy Soul Vaults. You can get 5 per vault and 6 vaults per week, so it's a limited amount. By placing in the top ranks of the Delve leaderboard contest, you can get more of these useless boxes. By purchasing them from Shelbert the Crabacus, who is rarely found in the Subnautica Passage delves after the defeat of the boss. You can get that as a limited 25 per week that you can buy from that dude. It's funny how they think we're going to end up finding that biome. Very rarely as drops from creatures in the Subnautica Passage delves. So, okay, whatever. So anyways, in addition to the free range electrolyte that can drop out of these boxes, they will also contain depth stepper gateways, 4 new allies, 1 new mount, and 2 new banner style recipes. Ooh la la, that mastery though. And then we're already on to the additional changes, which frankly speaking, it should not have taken me this long to get to this portion of the video, because the additional changes, these are actually great. Even though everything about this update I completely criticized, it's everything to do with the delves. It's just throw that in the garbage. It's terrible. But the additional updates, ooh, you guys are gonna be excited about this. Sorry, console players, that you don't end up getting this, but I mean, frankly speaking, do you guys care? Really? Like, you guys want the Chloromancer update and the Bard. I can get that, but do you really want these weird pay-to-win delves? No. So the Neon Ninja now generates a shuriken whenever they use a shadow flip, which is already that. So that's technically not one of the new modified skills that we saw on the test server. That is just unanimously on the Neon Ninja now. And that's crazy, because that sends him over the edge in terms of speed farming, because it means you're going to have full 3-charge shuriken when you end up getting to the next dungeon, because you're doing so many backflips anyways. But also, it makes Neon Ninja like invaluable to anybody that can't tank damage, because it means that you can basically have a whole group of people that's doing like super damage builds. And then you could have the Neon Ninja, which more than likely would end up being a DPS build anyways. But you can basically just backflip once to get a shuriken and throw it, and then it's going to snare the boss. So that actually works very well in the delves and keeps bosses like completely still. It'll work in dungeons. I think it works on Leviathans, but again, I haven't tested it myself. But either way, that is a huge change, considering that it's just some small additional update. Neon Ninja didn't need it, but I mean, I'll take it, dude. It actually kind of makes me want to swap back to Neon Ninja. So they changed the way that the Revenant Spear's movement speed debuff is applied. This should have no visible change, then why mention it? Added a PvP trophy for bards. Do you even get PvP trophies out of Bomber Royale? Or is it just out of PvP itself? Like, I don't know. It's been a while since I played Bomber Royale. Added 2 new delve-related leaderboard contests that nobody cares about. Fixed an issue that could prevent delve worlds from generating occasionally. Okay. Boss gateways will still have a chance of many bosses, but not at every loot level forever and ever. So, yeah. So, just again, it's very much bolstering the fact that it's random when you'll end up seeing the boss that you ended up crafting the portal to get in the first place, which tells me the portals are useless. The original volcanic vaults and understack gateways have had their appearance updated, not that anyone will notice. Boss specific gateway objects have had their appearances updated, again, not that anyone will notice. Reduce how often the Crack the Court biome shows up in delves relative to other biomes, who cares? Fix the sounds for a female okay, we're gonna comb over the sound effects in Trove because they're atrocious. Cop's Comb should no longer show up as a defeat creature requirement in delves. Okay. The delve gateway recipes for wild fae and a bunch of other things were erroneously giving mastery. They now give none, like the other delve gateway recipes. Okay. Minor fixes for the party island and meadow mover mag riders. Updated the back right foot of the Peter pirate guinea pig ally. Okay. Like some... There are a lot of other things that they could change rather than just changing random allies guinea pig foot. I'm looking at the VFX of Correxian, please. And then fix a typo in the Crown of Leviathan's badge, which, okay, who cares? Anyways, yeah, overall, I don't know. I mean, obviously, I rate this update to be really, really low on the spectrum. All the delve stuff sucks. The way it's implemented is very, very poor. Maybe those freaks, like those maybe you try hard monsters out there that, you know, the delves is your favorite thing, and you want to farm for specific bosses and resources. Maybe for you guys, then that'll be awesome. In which case, sound off in the comments. Am I being unfair? Am I being too critical? I always want to hear the opposite side of the spectrum, because I try to make these as much... usually I try to have them very subjective, but I also always insert my personality into it and my personal feelings towards it. I mean, I'm not a developer. I just play this game, and I can tell you without a doubt that I'm not really going to be playing the depth steppers that much, because I barely play the delves in the first place, just because I've grinded them, hundreds of them, and I find them to be wholeheartedly boring. especially compared to just going into the normal Uber worlds and stuff like that. And so it's like, okay, so is this going to be something that actually brings me back to the Delves? Nah, probably not. But I don't know. What do you guys think in the comments? I'm sorry that I ended up rambling so much in today's video, but I mean, do you guys agree with me? Do you not? I don't know. Either way, have yourselves a wonderful day, ladies and gentlemen. Smash like, sub for more, buy the merch you want to support the channel. I'll put a link in the description for the patch notes so that you guys don't have to watch through 20 minutes of me just being pissed off. And yeah, hopefully you guys have a wonderful day. Bye, guys.